The Beach Bum, directed by Harmony Korine, starring Matthew McConaughey, Snoop Dogg, Isla Fisher, Martin Lawrence, Zac Efron, and Jonah Hill. It's this light-hearted, humorous stoner comedy slash character study centered on an extremely colorful character of Moondog. Played by McConaughey, he's this total weirdo, apparently once a successful poet, now a local oddity in Key West and Miami, recognized by people in bars and on beaches and in restaurants. He spends pretty much all of his time trying to have fun, drinking, taking drugs, dancing, fooling around with people, not caring about the material world. As it quickly turns out, he doesn't have to. His wife is apparently filthy rich, and so he doesn't really have to worry about, funding his hippie way of life. That is, until something happens and Moondog is forced to finally complete and publish his new tome of poetry if he wants to see any of his money ever again. Now, this setup may suggest that some sort of spiritual adventure begins for Moondog, that he's going to undergo some sort of journey, but that's actually not the case. The entire film feels like a glimpse into this character's life rather than a period of change. Moondog remains essentially the same throughout the entire runtime, and so it's not a movie that hinges on character development, but rather spending time in the company of some truly oddball people. There's not too much happening in terms of the story other than a series of vignettes, short episodes where Moondog meets all these different crazy people, sometimes crazier than he is, and just watching their antics together. First thing that really popped out of the screen for me is the feeling that everybody involved in this film had the time of their lives. The entire cast looks like they're really having loads of fun. Most of them, of course, McConaughey. I think the role of Moondog must have been a blast for him. It's a character that does not give a single fuck about anything in his life whatsoever. And in his own words, he's there just to have a good time. And in turn, it's kind of impossible not to like him. He is endearing in a weird kind of way, even though it is abundantly clear that it's probably not someone you would want in your life permanently, more just encounter him once and then move on with your life. On the other hand, to this likability is, however, the slight difficulty in sympathizing with his situation. Moondog being kind of an asshole in a lot of ways is one thing, but there's also the fact that he is surrounded by extremely wealthy friends who are ready to help him out. And so a lot of the situations he finds himself in, or resolutions to these situations, feel outlandish to a normal person, more like a nice fantasy than real life. So, despite the fact that this is in essence a character who lives his life as if he doesn't need anything and anyone, he actually does rely on people in a lot of ways, which makes it more difficult to put myself as the audience in his shoes. Having said that, if you don't take the film so seriously, it actually is very enjoyable. The characters are great. My favorite is probably Zac Efron's sudden appearance as a fellow rehab patient. The soundtrack is fantastic. The way the film is edited as this sort of slightly jumbled stream of consciousness thing, occasionally it fits the story being told. And at the end of the day, it is just a relaxing experience to spend an hour and a half in the company of Moondog. As the central piece of the film, he needed to work as this magnet for the audience's engagement, and I think he does. Now, I know The Beach Bum was met with mixed critical reception, and I believe it comes down to misunderstanding the message of the film. If you try to take it seriously, and I think and think that Moondog is supposed to be presented as this role model for you to follow, then I think you will be disappointed and maybe even annoyed. But I think that's not the point. I think he's not some sort of template for you to follow all the time and in every way, but rather a reminder that sometimes, just sometimes, it is refreshing to just forget about the world, stop caring about anything, and, to quote Moondog again, have a good time. I know I did watching this film.